It's spinning. Yes.
Yes, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. So my name is Laila Ibrahim, and I'm from Grad Prentice. There is the lovely Sam with us today from Tern and Loren-Jai from Industry House. So today we're going to be discussing basically off what we've discussed last week on our experiences and why we've started our businesses and what we do on about actually what is life going to be like after university and what our experiences were. So I'm just going to start off by saying what my experience was, and then we're going to be jumping off on Sam and Lauren as well. So as everybody knows, because I crow about it all the time, I had a very negative experience coming out of uni. I was looking for a job. I couldn't find one, or nobody would hire me because they expected me to have this full-blown portfolio. I understand why that is a fair thing to require from somebody that is coming into your business, especially if you're running a business, you want them to be able to do some of these things, which you're hiring them for. At the time, this was something that I couldn't get, or I found it very, very difficult because even in internships that I did, I was doing basically admin work and nothing related to UX design, in which is the industry that I wanted to work in. And so that led to starting Grad Prentice. And we run projects as though we're working in an agency, which we are. And we help graduates pick up on skill sets that they will need for their future roles. And that's what we're up to right now. We've been working with Middlesex University, who picked us up as well to do the same service for them. So if anybody's looking to build their portfolio, you know where to come. Yeah. Sam, what was your experience?
I think I was quite lucky, really, because I piped up the courage to speak to an alumni that came in our second year. And I ended up being offered a work placement off the back of that particular workshop. And then that got me another 2 internships at that particular company. So one in my second year, my third year, and then when I graduated. And by the time I went back after I'd graduated, the guy who originally gave me the placement at that studio had actually moved to another company. So I tapped him up at his new place and got a placement at that one as well. And then I was very, very shy, felt really uncomfortable going into a new place with all these scary industry people. So it took me quite a while to come out of my shell, but I just somehow managed to kind of chat to people, and especially the freelancers, because they know they've got their ear to the ground on what's happening in other places. And it was kind of just through word of mouth that I ended up kind of being able to dot around. And then I was eventually offered a permanent position at Pemberton and Whiteford, where I am now. So yeah, I was quite lucky and did the whole word of mouth.
How long have you been there, Sam?
At P&W, I've been there for 13 years now.
That is a lucky strike. How many people can actually say they got an internship and they stayed and they still love their job? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I've never felt like I need to move on from there. They've kept me challenged. I enjoy the clients, the briefs, the people. So it's been really positive. Really enjoy it still.
That's awesome. How about you, Lauren? What's your experience been like?
So when I was in my last year, I knew that I didn't want to work for anyone else. So I didn't really know what kind of avenue to take. But on my last day, when I actually handed in my project, I laid on my bed and I was like, so what's next? So when I was struggling in the last month was when I started collaborating with people in my house. And that's where the idea came from for the business. So I kind of just ran with that and saw where I could go. So let's say graduation was June, July. By the time it was November, I had started a 4-day intensive course with the Princess Trust to start a business, just to learn a bit of the background. Even though I'd studied business before, it's a lot different when you're studying it to just pass an exam and studying it to actually own your own company. So we did a 4-day intensive course. It was in London, and off the back of that was when I started the process of doing all the business plan and figuring out what I actually wanted to do. So within 12 to 13 months, That's when I actually launched the business. And ever since then, I've had jobs, but they're always, if they're permanent jobs, I don't last very long, if I'm perfectly honest, because my intention was never to work. It's basically I have the job for experience, get paid at the same time, and it's turned into temp jobs in the last 2 years, because it also helps me with networking with people, which is really important. And it's always good to know people in different areas of life. Like, just knowing people within your creative field might not be able to tap into other people's networks as well. So that's one thing I really do like about temping. And in terms of where I've got to now is I know that this is exactly what I want to do, and I'm so glad that I pursued what I wanted. But on the other hand,
just for reference for the people who are watching, what exactly is it that you do?
Okay, so I run a talent management agency that focuses on collaborations between talent, as well as like bridging the gap between education and industry, so that people in education can find the right path in order to get to where they want in the industry. So it could be helping them build their portfolios, getting them more jobs in the industry, but it does require work from themselves as well. Like I don't do all the work. The work that I do, there is the amount of work that they do. So if they do nothing, I do a bit more than nothing, but I don't do as much work because it comes part and parcel. If they want it, then I want it even more for them.
Yeah, that's good. And Sam, just on that as well for you, what is it exactly that you do?
Yeah, so a similar thing really, in that I kind of, being in the position that I'm in, I've been in the industry now for 13 years, and I just noticed the struggles that interns were having in terms of finding work placements and finding paid work placements as well, especially. So I've started Tern Heads to basically try and create a platform that is specific to students, graduates who are looking for internships and permanent positions, junior roles within any creative sector. And yeah, so similar kind of thing, the whole, at the end of the day, you go to university, you do these courses to have something at the end to show for it, to visually show off all your skills, everything you've learned in those 3 years, 1 year, whatever. So yeah, your portfolio is really, really important. And so I put out lots of content to basically help people create the best representation of their skills as possible, and just kind of give little insights from lots of different people in the industry, kind of interview them, get some tips out there, and just try and make it a little bit more accessible for people, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just with the that as well, we're doing the same because of my negative experience. I kind of learned early you need to start preparing while you're at uni. Coming out of uni, it's not going to make things easier. Actually, it will make things much harder if you haven't had a portfolio. And Wendy's not with us today because she's actually completing some of her uni work. But she is responsible for creating personal development plans for students and graduates that are working with us. And this will help them kind of like plan ahead of time and give them direction on how long it's going to be taking them. From developing their interpersonal skills to the actual required skills on the job, and what have you. Basically, we were trying to help. So, yeah, just because I was traumatized from that, I just feel like, if we can give people as much heads up as possible coming out of uni, it'd be the best thing. So yeah, get your portfolio started. If you need help, just reach out to us. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I look for, and one of the things that I found is most successful, is when people don't rely on, let's say, a job for experience or an opportunity to just fly their way. Like, people need to make their own opportunities, and if that means doing an extra course that you just might need to up your skills on or something like that, then it's worth doing, because not only can you network there, but you'll also be able to build maybe part of a show reel, which is what some of our actors do. They go on acting courses for specific things, maybe voiceovers and stuff like that, so that they can add elements that they haven't had before. And then that opens them up to more opportunities, gets their name out there as well, which we find is really helpful.
Absolutely.
and it brings in more work, not only for them, but also for us, because we're obviously a business. And the main aim for us is to make sure that people have as many opportunities as possible. And one of those opportunities is going out there and doing stuff yourself. You can't expect everything just to come your way.
Yeah. How about you, Sam? Any tips?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very much you make your own luck, I think, in this industry. So yeah, brush up on those skills that you know you're not quite there yet, and constantly improve your portfolio, and start networking. Honestly, your experiences and your a lot of your jobs will be through word of mouth. People recommending you because they know that you're good, they know that you show up, they know that you put the hard effort in. So definitely network as much as possible. Get on every social media platform, create yourself a professional profile on there, and just get noticed. Just get yourself out there in order to be discovered and for people to remember you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that brings us to the close of today's podcast. And again, if anybody's looking for support in building their portfolios, getting a professional site out there, getting into industry, please do contact us. Yeah, and that's it for today. And see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.